Life finds a way. Championship teams find a way. And on opening night, the Orlando Magic found a way. Today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is October 22nd. It will be October 23rd, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Credentialed member of the Orlando Magic Media, broadcasting today from the Media Loge here at Kia Center as the Orlando Magic defeat the Miami Heat 125-121 in their season opener. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, we'll break down that game, how the Magic didn't play a great game, but found a way to win and what that means for the team. Plus, Jalen Suggs is back. It's so good to have Jalen back. The difference he made in this game. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our Orlando Magic dailies. That means you listen to us first thing in the morning. Do it. Be our first listen. And you're listening Monday through Friday, plus on weekends when we do our weekend recap episodes. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I think we all had big expectations for this game. Like we talked about it with our friends from Locked On Heat. There's big expectations for the season. Everybody can feel it. You can feel it in the energy in the building for opening night. You can feel it with every time you talk about this team. I can feel it when I look at the traffic and I look at how many people are watching and commenting on these videos, which thank you guys for doing, by the way. I do read them. I know you shouldn't always read the comments, but I do read them. This is a big season. There's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectation and hope for this team. Let game one remind you that this is still a process, that there are still a lot of moving parts and a lot of new pieces, whether it's learning a new offense and learning kind of a new style and mindset, whether it's learning new teammates and figuring out where there's going to be on the floor. There's still a lot of moving parts of this thing, and it's not going to look pretty, and it doesn't have to look perfect right now for the Orlando Magic because we've got, how many, like 6 months before the playoffs? We got a long way to go, 81 more games. It's a lot. There's a long, long way to go. But you still want to learn things in these games. You first learn what you still need to work on. Magic still need to work on their defense a lot. Defense was nowhere near what we're expecting from the Magic, certainly not consistently. The Magic still need to work on their half-court offense specifically. A lot of stagnant basketball, the kind of basketball that we've been used to seeing here for the last decade, and certainly from last year where the Magic just kind of fell back into that stagnant bad habit. But this is where things are different, or this is where the Magic begin to differentiate themselves. They found a way to win. And I don't mean that like kind of small, lowercase way. They found a way to win. When it looked like the Heat were going to run away with this, we were making too many big shots, too many big plays. When it looked like they were the ones in charge, the Magic answered back. The Magic made that next play. They won those 50-50 balls. Whether it was Wendell Carter pulling down 2 humongous offensive rebounds, one for a putback and one that tied the game midway through the fourth quarter. Another one that gave the Magic a 4-point lead after he hit a pair of free throws. Whether it was Jalen Suggs hitting this impossible, just getting stuck and hitting this impossible turnaround jumper that gave the Magic a 2-point lead at the time. Whether it was Desmond Bane diving on the floor to get a loose ball after the Magic had given up 2 offensive rebounds, diving on the floor to get a loose ball to make sure the Magic got possession and the opportunity to score and the opportunity to take that 4-point lead, which became the final margin. These are the plays. These are the little plays. These are the moments. And despite giving up 121 points, giving up 30 points in the fourth quarter, 39 in the first quarter, 52 in the middle 2 quarters, things that are not Magic defense. I don't have the offensive rating in front of me, the offensive defense rating in front of me, but this isn't Magic basketball. At the critical juncture, when the Magic needed stops, when the Magic needed baskets, when the Magic needed to make plays, they found a way. It starts with the defense, undoubtedly. It obviously starts with the defense. Being able to get key stops, making humongous plays, whether it was that Jalen Suggs charge, the Desmond Bane rebound, just defensive rotations that looked like Magic basketball. It might still be a process to make that consistent. It might still be a process to make that the full range of what the Magic are going to do. But when the Magic needed it most tonight, they found it. And that's why you have to come away saying this team's going to be fine. This team has the talent. They have the ability. They have the will to find a way to win. Look, I say this all the time. There are 82 of these things. There are wild swings. So you can't make judgments off of one game. If the Magic had lost this game, like I said on yesterday's pod, first games are kind of random. You don't always know what to expect, especially with a lot of new players on the team. Just, we'll see the Atlanta Hawks here on Friday. Look at the Atlanta Hawks against the Toronto Raptors. That's not the final product. Look at the back and forth of the Cavs and the Knicks game today. This is not the final product, but it is a step on the road. It is a step in the direction of where the Magic are going to go. And I think if you watch this game, and if you take my word for it, you can see the potential. You can see how everything can come together for this team. You can see why everyone believes so much on this team, why there's so much buzz in the building, why there's so much energy in the building. Because even on a day when the Magic did not play their best, even on a day when the offense looked sluggish for long stretches, where the Magic had to play from behind and catch up in the fourth quarter, where their defense did not get stops consistently, they got beat in transition, they got beat in fast breaks, they fouled too much. The Magic, at the critical moments when the game was on the line, they did not quit. They did not believe they were going to lose this game. They stayed calm. They stayed composed. And when everything called for it, they made the plays. We're going to say this a bunch this year. I am not a big believer in clutch stats mattering, in clutch being anything special. I'm lying to myself when I say that, because the good teams do stuff like they did tonight. The good teams, go watch that Oklahoma City Thunder game against the Rockets on Tuesday night, or really any Oklahoma City game over the last 2 years. You find ways to win. When the game is in the balance, you get that loose ball. You get that stop. You make that shot. And so look, it's one game. Let's not overreact. Let's not go crazy. There is a lot to clean up. There's a lot the Magic have to do better. They can't turn the ball over as much as they did. 15 turnovers. They've got to do better converting off of turnovers. 19 turnovers with 25 points is pretty good. 23 fast break points. They got to figure out how to control their speed and control their tempo so that they're not getting beat on defense by offensive mistakes. They got to understand what a good shot is. They got to learn where to be on the floor around each other. Most of the mistakes the Magic made tonight, or most of the mistakes the Magic made in this game, they are mistakes that come from not playing together very much. Jalen Suggs has been out since late January, almost 8 months, or almost 9 months to the day. He looked at times a little lost. Desmond Bane and Paolo Banchero, there's a play in the fourth quarter where they literally ran into each other and were sitting and standing in the same spot. That's not good offense. There was a lot of moments where the offense looked like it did last year. Just too stagnant. And we'll talk a little bit about that here when we go through the box score. But what's important today, the big takeaway today, is that you find a way to win. At the end of the day, nobody cares about all this other stuff. That's stuff to work on in practice and in film review and in the next game. All that anybody's going to care about, all that the numbers and the stats are going to say at the end of the day is, did you win? The Orlando Magic won tonight. A game maybe they don't win, certainly not toward the end of last season, certainly not when they weren't at full health. They win. They beat a game Heat team playing out of their minds, playing really, really well. Enough that, if you go listen to Locked On Heat, I am sure they are more encouraged than discouraged. This is the kind of game where a championship level team, which the Magic aspire to be, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. This is the kind of game that a championship level team is not thrilled about, even when they win. I'm warning you, I'm going to get prickly about wins. It's about winning the right way. But ultimately, what's the difference between the winning teams, the championship level teams, and other teams is finding ways to win games like this. Stealing a game that you probably should have lost. The Magic made the plays down the stretch. They look like the together team. They look like the grittier team. They look like the team that believed they were going to pull this out and win it. And that's exactly what they did. A big piece of that puzzle was, of course, the return of Jalen Suggs. We'll chat a little bit about what difference Jalen Suggs made beyond just making that one shot that was huge. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. With Mint, setup is super easy. You keep your number and you're running in minutes. You get the same quality service you had before, but for a fraction of the price. So, are you ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. Here's the required thing that I have to say. Upfront payment of $45 is required, which is equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends at Rugiet. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easier to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. So visit Rugiet, that's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. Obviously, we got the big news in the morning that Jalen Suggs would be making his return and would indeed play on opening night. And, look, I'm a big believer, like, you got to give guys who've been out for a little bit of time, some time to get their legs under them. And boy, Jalen needed some time to get his legs under him. 2 quick fouls, both fouling 3-point shooters on the first 2 possessions of the game. We know Jalen Suggs is eager. We know he's full of energy, but that was a little much, little overzealous there, a little too excited to be back. But make no mistake about it, this was Jalen Suggs' game. This is, if the Magic don't have Jalen Suggs in this game, he obviously hit like the go-ahead basket that won the game, technically, the game-winning basket. He made a ton of crazy defensive plays. Once he got settled, once he found his footing, he took over this game. He made the plays the Magic need to win this kind of game. It was an impressive showing. It was an impressive performance. It was the Jalen Suggs experience, the Jalen Suggs difference. Stats obviously don't do it, but let's do the stats just to get them out there. 14 points, 6 or 7 shooting, 2 for 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, no blocks, plus 15, game high, plus 15. That doesn't quite describe everything that Jalen Suggs did. It doesn't quite describe the impact that Jalen Suggs had in this game. Because again, he is the difference. Even Desmond Bane, playing his first game with Jalen Suggs, said he is the heart and soul of this team. He is the player that puts us over the top into being something truly, truly, truly special. And look, it took Suggs a while to get in this game. Obviously, he had the 2 fouls early. He's playing in 2 3-minute stints. He finished playing only 16 and a half minutes. He'll get more time. It'll start ramping up. Like, I would expect him to play Friday, but not Saturday against Chicago. And we'll talk why that's a little dangerous here in a minute. But Suggs is just able to turn the game on a dime with his energy. Once they found the foul footing, and fouling was a thing in this game, once he found the foul footing, he was able to begin to find that comfort zone, and unleash his defense on people. And let me tell you this was not a good defensive game for Orlando. There was a lot they need to clean up. Just the point of attack was bad. Some of the rotations were bad. But when the Magic were finally kind of dialed in defensively and started making their rotations well and communicating a whole lot better, everything changed. And it started, as it always does, with Jalen Suggs. It started with him ripping the ball from Davion Mitchell to get a breakaway layup. It started with him switching on to Norman Powell and locking him down and making every inch of ground that he was trying to get so difficult. And you could just kind of see that light flip switch and him just getting into his defender. And it was, and credit to this crowd. Like, this is not something I think you would see in a lot of buildings. They recognized when Suggs was turning it up. They recognized when Suggs was making those defensive stands, and they got lit. Like no other way to say it. Like they applauded the defensive intensity and effort from him. And obviously, like, I was telling some people in the locker room some new media members who were in the locker room, I said, like, yeah, that was Jalen at like half speed. Like, that was not full experience Jalen Suggs. But obviously, he made a huge difference. And it's not, again, not just that he made the go-ahead basket that won the game. Not just that he made this crazy shot. Go watch the tape on this. Made this crazy shot that delivered victory on a night that could have, I mean, a loss would have deflated a lot of things. Not panic, obviously. Like, I don't believe in that at this early stage, but would have been a deflating loss. It would have been a little bit of air out of the balloon. Like, okay, maybe this isn't as great as we thought it was going to be. Jalen Suggs made it that way. Jalen Suggs made this night a celebratory night, a night to feel really good, because Jalen Suggs is that kind of player, that kind of difference maker whose just presence and energy changes everything. And all of his teammates recognize it. All of his teammates feel it. All of his teammates know it. And he just delivered. He delivered exactly what the Magic needed when they needed it. We've had a lot of extended absences for Jalen Suggs in his career. And every time he steps back on the court, and every time you see him play for that first time, you feel it. You understand. There's like, oh, this is why Jalen Suggs is such a difference maker. This is why he's so important to everything the Magic are trying to do. His first game back couldn't have gone any better. He was confident shooting the ball, confident getting to his spots. And once he found his confidence on defense, it just elevated this team. And that's exactly what we expect from Jalen Suggs. It goes without saying. The Magic were plus 15 with Jalen Suggs on the floor. Game high, team high, plus 15. He made his teammates better. Not because he's passing the ball or anything like that. Because of the energy he brings, because of the spirit that he brings, the enthusiasm that he brings, the way he pumps the crowd up and gets them into the game. He delivers plays when this team needs it. And that's all you can ask for. And obviously, it's just the first step. There's still a lot more to do. But it's a pretty big step for Jalen Suggs. As we always do after games, let's go over the box score. We'll talk a little bit about what we saw and where the Magic need to improve. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Skims. When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've always been a boxers guy, and switching to briefs was scary. I've heard so much about Skims quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. Help that they sent me some free samples because I'm doing these ad reads. And let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. That's not just because it says that in the ad copy that I'm reading. It's true. I'm actually wearing Skims right now. Not that you want to know that, but I'm telling you. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, just finding the right style for me, something that's comfortable because I sit a lot. I'm in a chair right now. I've been in a chair for 2.5 hours. It's just a lot. Skims changed all of that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I've tried several different Skims types. I've really enjoyed kind of exploring this world as much as we don't want to think about underwear. I know some people don't like me doing the ad read this way, but I've been hooked. I want more skims. I ordered extra skims. I bought skims. I didn't just take the samples they gave us. I bought some new skims. These are perfect for my active lifestyle or even my sedentary lifestyle because they move with me, never lose their shape, and stay in place all day. Whether I'm working out, just running errands, or sitting at my computer typing out the next article for Orlando Magic Daily, or sitting here doing a podcast inside the Kia Center, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I have ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. So, shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select my show, Locked On Magic, in the drop-down menu that follows. Again, check it out today at skims.com. Let's run through the box scores. The Orlando Magic defeat the Miami Heat 125-121. Get to 1-0. That's all that matters. That's all anyone cares about. But a lot of really encouraging performances and a lot of things that still need to be worked on. Franz Wagner was the hero of the day. 19 of his 24 points in the first half. Very similar to what we saw at Eurobasket, to be honest. 9 for 17 from the floor, 2 for 5 from 3. Made his first 2 threes, missed the last 3, but made the first 2. He's shooting 40% from 3. Let's put that in a box and hold on to it. 4 for 6 from the foul line, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals as well. Franz, this new offense fits Franz a lot better than Paolo. I'll say that. Paolo's the one that's going to have to kind of figure things out and change his mindset a little bit more to make this work better for him. But this works really well for Franz. Like Franz is built for the motion and speed that this offense is trying to play with. He was dynamite throughout the game, even when he was struggling to score a little bit more in the second half. Just the way that he gets in motion, the way that he moves, it just, he finds space. And that's the big difference right now between Paolo and Franz. Is Paolo is much more of a, give me the ball in my spot, let me go to work guy. Franz is I'm going to stand in my spot and I'm going to read where the defense is and cut to open space. Just get me the ball in the open space. And so that little element of motion, and look, Paolo is really good in motion. You get Paolo going downhill, get him the ball in movement, no one can stop him. Honestly, the way to stop Paolo is get him in a stationary place where you can get under him a little bit, get into him as a ball handler. He's not the cleanest ball handler. Kind of get him, kind of rocking and trying to find a way. When Paolo's downhill, he's unstoppable. And look, Paolo, let's talk about Paolo's game. Paolo, 24 points. So he matched Franz, 24 points, 7 for 17 shooting, 9 for 12 from the foul line, 11 rebounds. There's a lot to like about what Paolo did. But because Paolo is a little bit more of I don't want to say passive, but a little bit more of a let me watch and isolate type player, he struggled to read double teams today. Like plain and simple, like he just struggled to read double teams. He wasn't sure where it was coming from. And some of it was he didn't know where his teammates were going to be to pass out of those double teams. So I think a lot of where Paolo struggled today was get him the ball in motion a little bit more, be a little bit more creative of how you get him to his spots. There's just a lot of kind of straight post ups, which I'm never a big fan of. I always think if you're going to post up, get him in motion. That's an easier way to pin someone deeper and deeper post position. If you're just kind of standing there calling for the ball, they can get under you, push you off your spot a little bit, get you a little bit off balance and off rhythm. So I'm usually more of a fan of getting guys the ball in motion, catch the ball in motion and then survey. Just don't let him get under you like that. But Paolo found ways to still impact this game, whether it was his rebounding. He had some bad defensive moments. He had some good defensive moments. But when he got downhill and he took over a good chunk of that fourth quarter, he made some good plays. The isolation plays weren't great. I'll check the synergy numbers later, but the isolation plays weren't great, but a lot of other things Paolo did were good. And again, I think they'll find a way. Like honestly, I would say most of the mistakes the Magic made in this game were just about getting their legs back under them. They're playing a lot faster. I don't have the pace numbers in front of me, but Magic have 23 fast break points, 18 second chance points. They're playing faster. Like that's a good thing. A big reason why they scored more than 30 points in 3 of the 4 quarters tonight is they're playing faster. That is a real thing that they are doing. It's working. The offense looks a lot better. There's still some hiccups in the half court. And again, a lot of it's just kind of like standing still, being a little sedentary, being a little, not sedentary, but being a little stagnant. That's a big part of this. But I really think that all this stuff is solvable and we'll see it get better as we move deeper in the season. It's just about reps at this point. It's really just about reps. Desmond Bane in his debut, he was eager. I want to give him that. He was eager, but a really solid game nonetheless. 23 points, 7 for 18 shooting, 3 for 7 from 3, 6 for 6 from the foul line. Again, made those 2 big free throws at the end, 4 rebounds. Again, made that big rebound at the end, 3 assists, did have 4 turnovers. So Desmond certainly, I think, feeling his way around, but let's be very, very clear. Desmond Bane made Desmond Bane shots. He made pull-up threes. He made pull-up jumpers. He's another guy who can attack off the dribble very comfortably. A little bit all over the place a little bit at times, but this guy is exactly what the Magic need. Just another guy who can make shots at a high level. The fact that the Magic had 3 20-point scores is just the second time in franchise history the Magic had 3 20-point scores in an opening game. That's going to be normal that the Magic have 3 20-point scores. And Jalen Suggs will jump in there too at times. But a really, again, just for feeling his way out, still, like, you could still tell, like, they're getting used to each other. And I want to really stress, there's still going to be a little bit of a adjustment period. There's still going to be a little bit of an acclimation period. So there's going to be rough moments, and that's okay. We want to see them diminish as we get deeper and deeper into the season, obviously. But very, very clearly, this was like their first real game together, first time playing major minutes. And like I said, I think the pace did tire this team out. There's still some conditioning they need to get. They need to get used to playing at this tempo and make sure teams aren't running back at them at the way that they are. So there's some shot selection issues. Desmond was guilty of it. Paolo was certainly guilty of it. Franz was guilty of it. There's some shot selection issues that I'd like to see clean up. But again, that's what tape is for. They got this first game down. They can kind of see where they need to grow and develop from here. We talked about Jalen Suggs' game already, so I won't belabor that. Wendell Carter, not the biggest game. I had some people say, like, oh, it's the old Wendell Carter again. But, like, Wendell Carter had the biggest plays of the game. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. He was 2 for 5 from the floor, 5 for 5 from the foul line. Did have a block, did have a steal. Look, Wendell Carter's going to do whatever the team needs him to do. And I thought that he played pretty well. Like, obviously, like, he made big shot. He made two humongous shots off offensive rebounds. He made big plays. Sorry for the flashing green light. They're testing something here in the Kia Center. They made big plays, and he made big plays and was a difference maker in this game. The defense will be there. Like, I'm confident that he's going to be in the right spots. And it was a solid effort from Wendell Carter at the end of the day. The Magic, frankly, really won this game because, I don't want to say completely, but the Magic's bench played very, very well. The Magic's bench won their minutes. Starts with Tristan Da Silva. Tristan Da Silva looked like he did at Eurobasket. 16 points, 5 for 8 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3. Just very confident shooting the ball, found his spots, didn't try to do too much. If this is the Tristan Da Silva we're going to get, I'm not expecting 16 points per game, but if this is the Tristan Da Silva we're going to get, the Magic have a very dangerous player coming off their bench. And so you hope that that's something that's going to last. Again, I think he'll be fine. Goga Bitadze had 8 points, 3 for 4 shooting, just 8 rebounds, 4 assists, very typical Goga game. Got a little overeager on a few plays. Kel'el Ware bested him on a few lobs, but generally, Goga did what Goga does. Anthony Black, he scored 7 points on 3 for 9 shooting, but I thought he played really well. Made a couple big defensive plays down the stretch as well. I know I was a little lower on him coming into the season and what we saw in preseason, but the confidence is up. He's a very confident player now, and I think there's still a lot of time to kind of build on it and grow with it. So I'm very, very eager to see how AB develops. The one negative player we got to talk about is Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones, no points, 0 for 4 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3. Obviously, like, a big part of his appeal is that he's an excellent 3-point shooter. So numbers will even out there eventually. Did have 3 assists against 2 turnovers. So turnovers are a little high. We're not expecting a lot of 2 turnover games from Tyus Jones. But Tyus Jones looked like he was the player who was most struggling to find his comfort and struggling to find his fit. He was the player who was, it seemed like, trying to figure out where everybody is. And look, it's a point guard, new system, new teammates. It's going to take a little while to figure all that out. And so I don't want to panic and go crazy, but Tyus Jones has always been a little bit of an odd man out. He is not known as a good defender. He was not a good defender in this game. And so it not for lack of effort or anything, but just it's going to be a struggle for him. And I definitely think that part of the reason why Jalen Suggs is playing is the Magic know they can't go very long with Tyus Jones as their starting point guard. Like, I was all in, like, Tyus is going to start. It's going to be what it is. I kind of think they're going to either go Tristan Da Silva in the starting lineup or Anthony Black in the starting lineup when Jalen Suggs has to miss games. And again, I think Jalen will set out Saturday against Chicago. Obviously, it's just one game, so I don't want to like pull the plug and say, oh, this doesn't work. It's a little too early to call for Jace, but Jace Richardson should get his opportunity at some point. And obviously, you can't play Jace and Tyus together because of their size. And Tyus is a veteran; he'll figure it out. But this was not a good. It was a good, fine debut for Desmond Bane. Like we saw, oh, this is what the Desmond Bane experience is going to be like. It's going to be good. Like their Magic will get something out of this. Tyus Jones did not have a good debut, and so there's a lot to continue building on, a lot to continue growing with on that front, and we'll see what he does in game 2. Obviously, it's 81 more games to go, so I don't want to draw too many conclusions, but not a strong start for him. Orlando shoots 46.7% from the floor. They get 90 field goal attempts, so that's a good thing. 29 for 35 from the foul line, so they get to the foul line a lot. 12 for 31 from 3. Not a huge raw number of threes. Didn't take a ton of threes. They pulled the threes down. They took 18 in the first half. They shoot 38.7% from 3. Considering where this Magic team is at, like, yeah, get the volume up a little bit, get the ball moving a little bit more. They only had 23 assists on their 42 makes, but we'll take the percentage. That percentage is fine. The real struggle is on defense. Miami did make tough shots. I want to make that clear. I thought Miami did beat good defense, but they also beat some lax defense. Orlando's defense was not dialed in. It came in that fourth quarter. The Magic were able to kind of get what they wanted and do what they wanted in that fourth quarter. But generally, the defense was not good. It was just not Magic defense. It was not at the quality the Magic are used to having. They shoot 48.4%, 12 for 35 from 3. They're 21 for 27 from the foul line. They score 16 points off 15 Magic turnovers. They get 22 fast break points. Just there's a lot of moving parts in this Magic offense. I think a lot of the defensive problems were caused by either offensive struggles or playing faster than they need to play, or taking a bad shot and leading to a long rebound and a little bit of a run out and not getting organized. But there's a lot of problems at the point of attack too. It'll get better. It got better as this game went on. It got a lot better toward the end of the fourth quarter. So like, I'm not worried about it, but not a good defensive game for Orlando in the end. But at the end of the day, all anyone cares about is that final score. And that final score reads Magic 125, Heat 121. Those standings say the Magic are 1-0. They say the Heat are 0-1. And that's all you want out of opening night. So the Orlando Magic get a huge win. They'll be back in action Friday against the Atlanta Hawks after their surprising blowout loss at home to the Toronto Raptors. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the fun places on the podcast to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can also check us out on YouTube. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, go make your second listen, Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd will host the #1 fantasy basketball podcast, giving you daily tips and helping you win your league, all while making you a smarter NBA fan. Fantasy is just another perspective at looking at the league. You learn a lot. You can learn a lot from the league from that perspective. Josh does a great job covering the league from the fantasy perspective and giving you insight that helps you understand your teams better. Find Locked On Fantasy Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. I'm still experimenting on where to record after games or setting up for the Solar Bears game, so I was not able to record from my usual spot. So I'm trying this spot. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you don't. I'm going to find better lighting somewhere. But I want to thank you all for sticking with me here at the Kia Center as the Orlando Magic improved to 1-0 with a 125-121 win over the Miami Heat. We'll be back tomorrow to get a second impression of this game. Let's do second impressions of the first game on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Magic. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.